The VC show, let's go, let's go. The VC show,
let's talk about these playoffs, man. I tell you, I've been gone all week, but I made sure that I was watching the playoffs, and it just leaves you in awe. I mean, it's funny to see. We go back and we talk about, or we remember the trade deadline and all of the players that were traded, and how would it factor in, and who will do what, and will it help? Obviously, KD, Russ, Kyrie being traded to their teams, and now we're saying, can they take their teams, put their teams in the playoffs at the time, and how far will they go if they make it? And wow, I'll start with Kawhi first in the Clippers. I was asked all week about that while I was at the golf tournament, what my thoughts on Kawhi. And, I only know what I know and what we hear. If a player can't play, and I think I know we've seen Kawhi, obviously, he's always talked about the load management, but he's performed in the playoffs when needed. And I think he's just had some bad luck. And, my thing about that, and this, you guys can kind of decipher this how you want, break it down, have your opinion with it, but it's just like, you got to get your body in shape. And not that he has not, but it's just like regular season. That's why you play the games, to kind of get yourself in shape. And some people are like, well, you play so many games, you wear down. And I hear a lot of people like, oh, guys, he's injured, or guys are injured, or they're hurt, and they can't play, or they're not playing at their level. Everybody's hurt. Everybody has some knick-knack injuries that they're dealing with, and Kawhi has had some injuries that have just obviously put him out, because he was, man, game one, and I guess it was game two as well. I'm like, man, this dude is playoff ready. And, there was talks like, oh, that's why he does the load management, and, for this reason. And then, what can you say now? It's just like, all right, some could say, well, if he was playing more games, he's primed. And some people like, it's just a freak accident, just the way the game goes. And I agree with that. That's just the way the game goes, because you could play 82 games or as close to it and come in the season and have an injury, or you could play 60, 70 games and have an injury. Just kind of the way it goes. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys get nicked up and injured for whatever reason. And it's just the way it is. I mean, playoff basketball is just a different brand of basketball than obviously regular season. Regular season is different than preseason. And, that's just what it is. I know Kendrick Perkins said the Clippers have a decision to make as far as what that Steve Ballmer should do with Kawhi and PG. I kind of agree with just one more year, give him another year, particularly now that you have Russ there. I know he's I think unrestricted free agent, so I think you keep this team together and you make this a last run. New building, new energy, new opportunity. I think going into a new building with headline superstar names like Russ, PG, and Kawhi is a great transition to your new building, if that building is ready in time for the season. I'm sure it'll be ready at some point in time. So that's great to get your fans in there and to kind of have them hyped and motivated. But they just kind of figure out how to keep those guys healthy. I mean, it's nothing you can do about guys getting injured in or hurt in games. That's just what it is. But I mean, I think if they can stay healthy, they are definitely relevant. They're definitely a contender next year with those three alone. And then I love Zubac. I love Mann. You have Bones, who will be around, have a full year. I don't know. We'll see. But it's just unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate how that happens when, you have a team that can make some real noise. And I thought they were in a position, in seat where, they're going to see some of the best players, but that was a scary team. And you see they were still tough out. Anytime you have Ty Lue, and Ty Lue I've known for a very, very long time, become an unbelievable coach, one of the best coaches in the league, year in and year out. And you just look at what he's accomplished, what he did with what he had. And he made a great point. You take two superstars off of your any team, will they survive? Will they be competitive? And he for sure had the Clippers competitive, and to where they still had a shot to get it done. Well, to really put themselves in a situation where they can probably take it back to the Clippers and hopefully get PG. But Devin Booker and KD got busy, did their thing. They did what they're supposed to do. You don't want to give any team life. When you're 3-1, particularly at home on your court, you don't want to give anybody life to go back to their building, regardless if Game 7's in your building. You want to close it as soon as possible. For injury purposes, like we've said, we saw KD fall. He landed on his hip. That's been a theme lately of guys falling, hurting their lower back. And we saw that KD did that. He was grabbing it, favoring it a little bit early, but he still found a way to be that guy, which he is, man. And I tell you what, man, they're going to be a tough out. Like that was a great series. Oh, man, what else? Let's see. Hawks, Celtics. So, I mean, I could go on for days about this. Obviously, you guys know I played in Atlanta, and I still think the Celtics are the better team. I was just curious how this would play out, and I have to give Trae some credit. All year, up and down with how he played the game, and that was kind of our argument, Trae and I, throughout the year, just making sure he got his guys involved because he will need them in the playoffs if they were able to make the playoffs, and they had success a couple of years ago on their magical playoff run with Trae getting guys involved early and allowing him to be fourth quarter Trae and the superstar player that he is, because that's when you need your superstar to be their best, is in the fourth quarter. And Trae is displaying that in the last, game 3, game 4. I mean, game 3 through 5. I think he was aggressive early. Game 5. I'm sorry, game 4. Oh, game 5. He was aggressive early and got his shot, but he started to get other guys involved as well, getting off the ball, allowing Bogey Bogdanovic to get hit shots and hitting the roll guys, because it just loosens the defense, because obviously he's going to draw the attention. But people are like, oh, they're double team. You see double teams were slow to happen because of his ability. He had 13 assists. And I thought sometimes he gets the assists just because he's trying to get his numbers, but he was making the right plays and getting guys involved. So now the double teams aren't as quick, and they were hesitant, at the end of the game. They're like, hey, where was the double team? Well, yeah, Marcus Smart was on his way, but at the same time, Trae's ability to get off the ball, get guys involved, which he was doing all game, allowed him made for the defense to be hesitant to just all out sell out and go double team, because Bogey was hot. He could have easily been the guy to the recipient and knock down that shot. And I think when he gets the ball, you feel confident that he can make shots. You have DeJounte Murray, and he's the guy that Trae has now shown growth to me, even from the beginning of the year, allowing DeJounte to run the point sometime. He plays off the ball, and he can be as effective, and he can feel comfortable in showing that now when Trae gets off the ball, DeJounte can go out there and get buckets. He can put up numbers, and I thought that was a big loss for him, and I was interested to see how it all played out. DeJounte is a huge piece to the success of the Hawks and where they are. So he just has to be smart. I know his frustration. He was frustrated, and it got the best of him, and he made a mistake. He admitted that, and if me, a veteran in the locker room or around, I just tell him, man, you on the court is more important than you motivating from somewhere else at this time of the year. So, Trae made him a promise that he was going to get it done, bring it back to Atlanta, and he did just that. So, shout out to Trae, shout out to the Hawks, keeping their season going. Hopefully, they can pull off something in Atlanta. I think there's going to be a hype crowd. So, ATLians, show your love, man. Show your love to keep that series going, to make it an interesting series. Because I think, regardless of what people say, your fandom, if you're a Hawks or Celtics fan, everybody enjoys seeing series play out 6-7 games where it's like a lot of drama, very interesting. So I'm hoping that happens because it's just good TV, good to watch. Quick mention, for those who are watching the game, I don't know how many people switched over to NBA TV to watch the T-Wolves Nuggets. I didn't, but I could see the score, and I saw Anthony Edwards. I did flick over for Anthony Edwards game-winning shot attempt. Shout out to Anthony Edwards, man, who is just, you're seeing growth from him in his game. He's going to be a superstar for a lot of years, getting his team in the playoffs. Shout out to Mike Conley. I thought that was a great pickup for the Timberwolves, getting Mike Conley in there. We've seen what Mike Conley's effect was for Donovan Mitchell in Utah. And I thought he carried that over. I'm talking about Donovan Mitchell carried that over to Cleveland, just understanding the game, seeing the game a little differently. Also, I felt having Mike Conley would do the same for Anthony Edwards. He already had what he had. I thought he would be great for him, just kind of seeing the game differently from a point guard, from a leadership standpoint, because Mike is a great leader, a great teammate and motivator. So shout out to him and the T-Wolves. They had a great year, because I don't think a lot of people felt beginning of the year that the T-Wolves would be much of anything, or just we didn't know. I'll say that. And then the Rudy Gobert thing, I thought they gave up a lot, too much rather, for Rudy. Not that he's not a great defender, but I just felt like you got rid of a lot of assets. But this is positive that they were able to figure it out, get some wins, get into the playoffs. That always helps for free agency and moving forward. Oh, I want to make a quick mention about that Hawks game going back to Atlanta right during Janet Jackson. Ooh. So I don't know what they're going to do with Janet Jackson. Maybe they'll move it to the next day. I'm not sure. But, I mean, obviously, that's their arena. And I'm sure they booked Janet Jackson, months and months in advance. But, the playoffs is happening, and you can't reschedule playoff game. It's easier to reschedule a concert before, and even if it is Janet Jackson, it's easier to reschedule a concert than it is to reschedule a playoff game because of the scheduling and how it falls for TV. So anyway, I just wanted to say that I thought that was kind of hilarious. I know they had situations that like that before, which was brought to mind. I think it was 2009 Nuggets in WWE. I'm sure Vince McMahon was not happy about that, being a man of control. So anyway, I want to talk about the next matchup. I think it's Denver Phoenix. Quick thoughts. I'm interested to see who will have what, how they go. I think KCP will have Devin Booker. I guess Kevin Porter. I'm sorry, Michael Porter Jr., not Kevin Porter. Michael Porter Jr. is going to have his hands full with Kevin Durant if he's the one that guards Kevin Durant, and if not, he's going to have to guard Devin Booker, or maybe they put him on CP, and they put Jamal Murray on Devin Booker, and maybe Kentavious Caldwell, KCP guards Durant. I don't know. He's a tough matchup. Or actually, I take that back. Aaron Gordon. You also have Aaron Gordon. So I'm interested to see how these pieces fall. I think Aaron Gordon will guard Durant. So this is going to be an interesting series, because obviously the talks are Jokic being an MVP, two-time MVP, and when will Denver kind of move on and deeper into the playoffs? Well, they advanced to the first round, mission accomplished. Now it's on to the second round. And you look at the other side of this and you say, all right, the Clippers were a tough out, which I thought it would be. Now already this team of Phoenix, regardless of the success of the individual players and the Phoenix Suns last year, they're battle tested this year as a unit and have a better understanding of who they are, how they need to play in situational basketball. Now comes the next challenge. Denver's been good all year, whether we give them their props or not. They still deserve to be recognized as the number one seed. And how this plays out, I don't know. I mean, I think it was important for the Phoenix Suns to close that game out instead of let that series drag on. Then I think it gives the advantage to Denver. Then, yes, regardless, you said have Devin Booker and KD, so they're dominating, they'll do their thing. But I think now you get a chance for Chris Paul to rest, chance for KD to rest, and just go in there healthy, rested, and ready to rock. This to be an interesting series moving forward, and I can't wait to see it.